notifications anytime I drop videos like this. And without further ado, let's jump in straight into today's video. Alright guys, now if you recall the last video that I posted on YouTube, I spoke about Bitcoin dumping. Okay, I spoke about this white line. I said I expect Bitcoin to have a rally, and if it has a rally towards the upside, it's likely going to form a triple top. And if this happens, then we would have another crash. And I also said that I do not trust the momentum of Bitcoin, for it to get this rally to form a triple top. I said there's a very high possibility that Bitcoin would dump, and as at that time Bitcoin was around $23,000. And if you've been following my updates for a couple of weeks now, I have been calling for Bitcoin to crash despite Bitcoin pumping. Okay, I'm amongst the few that still maintained my grounds and said Bitcoin is going to crash. And I told you all to be very careful, mostly if you're trading to the upside. And also, if you follow me in any of the premium groups, you would have observed that I accurately called the dates that I expect Bitcoin to begin building up a dump, and I mentioned 20th of February. I was specific. And if you observe, on the 20th of February, this candlestick was the green candlestick that formed last, and we saw Bitcoin dump down. It started dumping. And not just that, I called the 7th of March. I said on the 7th of March, Bitcoin is going to dump. And the 7th of March came, and we saw Bitcoin. This was the last candlestick that formed, and Bitcoin came crashing down with this long candlestick now. So guys, I am back to give my analysis and my opinion about the crypto markets. I am the Crypto Prophet. My analysis hardly fails. This is one track record that I've had and maintained over the years. As a matter of fact, if I give you any analysis concerning the crypto markets, concerning the stock exchange, concerning the forex markets, just be rest assured that my analysis would play out in one way or another. And when it plays out, you would sure know it has played out. My analysis hardly fails, and I'm always 80% to 90% accurate and correct in my predictions. Now guys, I just want us to take a look at this chart. This is the Bitcoin one-day chart. I want to explain the current pump of Bitcoin. Now, if you have followed my videos, I have a video where I spoke about the Bitcoin theory, where I spoke about the equinox seasons, and I noticed and discovered this trend for Bitcoin working with the equinox season. And not just that, I spoke about Bitcoin forming a triple top, and guys, this is exactly what has played out. No disputes about this, guys. This is what has played out. Now let me explain. This is the first stop that Bitcoin formed. I need you to be very attentive so that you would understand what Bitcoin is currently doing. I've heard a whole lot of persons say, oh, Bitcoin is heading to 30k, 40k, 50k, we're in the bull run and all that. But yet you still hear me, the Crypto Prophet, telling you that Bitcoin is going to dump. And here is a very clear example. You can see this beautiful dump, guys. Look at how Bitcoin dumped. Now let's take a look at the charts. When Bitcoin came up, it formed this first top. And when it formed this first top, what happened? It dumped down to this line. Okay, it formed this top, dumped down to this line. Now, as it formed this top and dumped down to this line, it still formed as a form of support, and then pumped up, exceeding this higher high. Okay, the highest high here. This second top exceeded this first top. Now when this second top came crashing down, it crashed down and exceeded the lower low of this first top. Okay, now let's take the measurement and see this first top here down to this first top here. you can see that Bitcoin crashed. The second top crashed way above the value of the first top by 8%, 8.34%. okay, 8.34%. And if you observe, you would observe that when the price came down and tested the 200 MA on the 1-day chart, we had a rebound, and this rebound from all indications has exceeded the higher high of the second top, forming a third top. Now guys, I want to say this, please be very careful with Bitcoin. Now even if you do see Bitcoin pump, okay, now observe, it pumped, it broke this line. Let's begin here. It pumped, it broke this line of resistance at 21,745. Still pumped again, broke this line at 23,623. Pumped again, broke this line at 25,263. And now we are having it face a form of resistance here. Now even if you do see Bitcoin pump up, you need to be very careful. If it dares pump up, then we are looking at a price of 27,000, and then if it's stubborn, we are looking at 28,400. But now guys, this is all I need to say. Take note of this. Now even if Bitcoin should pump up to this price, the truth is this: it is simply forming a triple top. Okay, a triple top is what it is forming. And guess what's gonna happen? If it comes crashing down, it would beat this low. Just as it beat this low, came crashing down here. If Bitcoin should crash down from this third formation, this triple top, you would see it beat this lower low. And this lower low is at $19,600 thereabouts, or let's say 19,000, let's just say $19,800 thereabouts. So the next dump that Bitcoin would have, guys, you need to be very careful, because we are going to see a lower level. Okay, so this is why I am of the opinion that you trade with caution. If you need guidance on how to trade and what to enter into, kindly follow any of the channels that I offer advice to. And now secondly, I want to point this out, guys. Now if you observe, this white line has crossed this orange line. This white line is the 50 MA, the orange line here is the 200 MA. Now anytime there's a cross, this is called a golden cross. And for the fact that the price is having this cross, the price of Bitcoin is having this cross is sure going to come down, guys. We would still have a death cross. And if you check all through the history of Bitcoin, anytime we have the white line cross this yellow line here, let me show you from previous examples. Anytime you have the white line cross this yellow line here, it must cross it down, guys. That's a must. Except if we enter into a strong bull run, and I must tell you this, we are not yet in the bull run, so this is not possible, because we expect this line to cross down and form a solid base before crossing up, ushering us into the bull run. Now let's take a look at this, guys. If you observe here, what happened here, this line crossed this yellow line at around September 2021. And if you observe, the price of Bitcoin went above this white line, just as you have here, the price has gone above the white line, and it came down, had a break into this particular region. It broke down and went beyond this white line, and you still see that this white line crossed this yellow line and went down. And when this happened, the price of Bitcoin came crashing down. Now let's check another example and see. You can see that this white line crossed, came up, and at the same time had this crash and then came crashing down. Okay, Bitcoin at this point crashed down to this low level. Let's take a look at other examples. Okay, you can see here the white line crossed down, Bitcoin had this dump. Okay, now if you observe, there are series of examples to prove this, guys. Now take a look at this. As soon as the white line crossed, went up, came down, crashing down, the price of Bitcoin came down. The same thing happened here. It climbed up, came crashing down, and then had a form of a rally towards the upside, meeting this white line as a form of resistance. And then when this white line crossed this yellow line, the price of Bitcoin came down. So now guys, I just want to give my honest opinion without mixing words and give my bold and honest opinion, guys. The next price of Bitcoin, when it crashes, expect Bitcoin to beat this level, because it's coming back to test this level. I do not care whatever anybody says. As a matter of fact, I'm not looking at anybody's opinion. You know, out there you can hear people say, oh, Bitcoin is pumping to 40k, 30k, this and that, 100k and all that. Now, I do not care about all of that. I simply tell you what I read from the charts. I tell you the formation that I see forming in the charts. And if we are to draw this very well, if we are to have a glimpse of the next price of Bitcoin, let's draw this line very well and let's see. Now, when it came crashing down, it touched this base. When it came crashing down, it touched this other base. Now, when it comes crashing down, there's a high possibility that we would still touch this line again, and this brings us lower than 19,000, guys. So you need to be very, very careful if you're trading Bitcoin. Do not get carried away by this pump that you see, because this pump is simply going to usher Bitcoin to dump, and if it's dumping more, because already we have formed a higher price, higher than the previous second top that was formed by Bitcoin. So this is the Cryptoprophet, guys. Now look at this. This is Bitcoin at $26,000. Okay, now anybody looking at this will say, oh, we are into the bull run, oh, let me buy, let me begin longing positions on futures and all that. But I just need you to be very careful, trade with caution. If you must enter into a long position, or if you must buy a coin, you need to be very careful, and you need advice to do that. So we are available to advise you. You can follow us and join any of our channels, and we would give you the best advice that we can find. And we do expect that at the end of the day you should see results, guys. So please just be patient. Do not rush this. You cannot rush the market. You can't fight this. It is something that is meant to happen based on the formation from the charts. Okay, so this is my honest opinion, guys, and I wish you all best of luck from the Cryptoprophet. Do not forget, if you see Bitcoin pump, do not get carried away. Rather, what you should do is to form a enter into a short position, because it has succeeded in forming a triple top. So long as this high is higher than this previous high, a triple top has been formed. It may still keep on pumping, but I must tell you this: when it pumps to a level and begins dumping, guys, expect it to take down this lower low. Okay, expect it to take down this lower low. Just as it took down this lower low, expect it to take down this lower low. So this is the Cryptoprophet, guys. I wish you all a happy trading, and do not forget to be careful, because cryptocurrencies is very volatile and you need patience to work with the market. You can't force the market, you just have to wait for it to come to you. There are other charts I would have loved to share with you, but time would fail me. I just want to focus on this particular chart, and I believe you understand what I'm talking about. Thank you everyone, and God bless you from the Cryptoprophet.